Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game! When we last left off, a group of dragons arrived here in the village of Lekunder and absconded with their protective elemental crystals and Princess Elandra, holding her ransom in exchange for rulership over Lekunder. So, while King Randolph King reads over the ransom note, Princess Elandra and her friends are going to try to get back the crystals and her sister. First we need to figure out where we should actually be looking. Let's check inside the inn. This is right by the entrance to town. Maybe someone in here knows where to go. Let's go. I was invited to join Rossetti's Thieves Guild. They only let you into Thieves' Hall if you know the password. But I lost the note I wrote the password on. I feel like this is important. I'm going to write this down just in case it's important. Okay, and obviously there's also the innkeeper, but all the innkeeper is for is sleeping at the inn. And by the way, this is going to be how we recover our health. By sleeping at the inn. Yeah, I know that Kristana has her own house in town, but... well, it only has 2 beds, so the rest of her group is going to just stay at the inn. They probably just live there. That's not necessarily unusual, right? Just gotta pay the rent. Dawn, who is very enthusiastic to see us. I was out gathering berries just outside of town. I saw some of them monsters. There was a couple goblins and a big, mean-looking orc. Lucky for me, they didn't see me. They went into a forest cave just south of town. Alright, that sounds important. So what is sold here in the Emporium? Oh, by the way, each character has their own separate inventories. I think the item limit for each one is 10, and this includes equipment, whether you have it equipped or not. Alright, Jagbo, Elixir, Profa, Othla, Lilato, Griffin Feather. A Griffin Feather is a revive, I want to say. Phoenix Feather is a stronger revive. Pocket Anvils? I can't remember what those are for. Hold on a sec. This game comes with a manual that lists some of these items. Let me see what they do. Well, unfortunately, the Pocket Anvils is not listed in the manual for the game. The manual doesn't list every item, just the basics. And also, RPG Maker 3 shops don't tell you what the items in the shops do. You have to actually acquire them and look them up in your own menu. At least, those other items are listed in the manual. They include health recovery and MP recovery. But I don't have very much money at the moment, so I'm not going to worry about that. Well, actually, while we're on the subject, what do we have? So Kristana, we already looked over her stuff. She just found a cheese pizza and waffle fries. Galisa doesn't have any items besides her equipment. She's got the small bow, a compact wooden bow used by huntsmen and wimps. I'm sensing a common theme. And also a robe. Everyone has a robe, so we don't need to look that up again. But Phibbs has a hatchet, a light axe, common tool of woodsmen and wimps. Out of everyone on our team, Phibbs is definitely the most wimp-like. And lastly, Jareth, who has a dagger. A small, concealable dagger with a needle-sharp point, favored by thieves and wimps. We only have 30 gold, so we're definitely not going to be replacing any of this stuff soon. And given the circumstances, maybe I actually should buy a few items in there. Well, let me continue looking around town. In fact, let me go ahead and head back to the tavern to find out what they're selling there. Alright, you got dire ale, fleppa juice, bubba juice, and the various pizzas. Also breadsticks. I like breadsticks. So the healing items here are definitely the cheaper ones, while the other shop has the more expensive healing items. Okay, here's something that I need to know. How much MP do we have, and what spells do we have? Because some of the items are MP healing items, and I want to know how important it is that I buy those. So everyone has 10 MP. Kristana has Ice Dagger, which... well, it's been a bit since I've looked at this information. I want to say that's 8 damage and uses 4 MP? I would definitely assume so. Okay, so Ice Dagger, a damaging shard of ice, most effective against fire enemies. So she would be able to use that twice. Galisa has Splash. A splash of water magic heals wounds. Heals 10 HP and uses 2 MP. Fibs has Light Omen. A spark of fire magic energizes melee and ranged attacks, making them stronger. So you get attack buffs. Buffs attacks by 5 points and cost 5 MP. Starting out, that might be a bit expensive, so I'm going to ignore that for the time being. And Jareth has Wings. A dash of wind magic provides increased speed. Seems to double speed and uses 5 MP. So I probably do want to buy a couple of MP recovery items. Well, Kristana has Cheese Pizza, which recovers HP, and Waffle Fries, which recover MP. Now, the interesting thing about the Cheese Pizza and the Waffle Fries is they are multi-use. That is what the 5 out of 5 means. Not every item is multi-use, though. The ales and elixirs and the juices are not multi-use. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy 2 cheese pizzas, give one to Fibs and the other to Jareth. I know I bought them for Galisa, but I can just pass them over. Oop, don't discard it! It threw me off a bit that equip is skipped over. Along with that, I'm going to buy 2 Buppa juices. The Fleppa heals 5 MP, and the Buppa heals twice as much. But it does not cost twice as much, so it's going to be more cost effective to buy 1 Buppa juice than it is 2 Fleppa juices. So I'll buy 2 Buppa juices and give one to Fibs and the other to Jareth. Alright, let's see if we can get any other information about where to go. So right here is Kristana's house. There's also a house right here that I didn't go into. Daktar's house. I don't remember who Daktar is. Apparently, that person is Daktar. Hello, Kristana. I don't believe I've met your friends before. I am Daktar. I was once a powerful sorceress, but my powers have waned over the years. I'm getting old. Very old. I moved to Lekunder to retire. Fibs blinks. You don't look very old. That's what I was thinking. Daktar gives a sly smirk. That's my little secret. I am, in fact, 82 years old. Whoa, that's a nice trick. Maybe I'll reveal my secret sometime. One of my hobbies is potion brewing. There are 4 main ingredients that can be used with some common ingredients that I have to make potions. Jackbow berries and othla grass can be used to make healing potions. Brofa leaves and lilato flowers are used for magic recovery points. Okay, this is the house I was thinking of when I said there was an important house last time. If you should come across any of these ingredients during your travels, bring them to me, and I'll whip up some potions for you. Thanks, Daktar. We'll be on the lookout for them. Kinda nice when the game gives you stuff to do. Okay, how about you? Flare. Monsters nearby town? Nope, I haven't seen any. I spend most of my time hunting in the woods north of town. There are no monsters there. This is true. There are no monsters on the world map. Armory. We're not going to be able to buy anything right now. But just out of curiosity, what you got? Cags? Yeah, we're definitely not affording anything right now. So there's a few pieces of armor, as well as accessories. I'll go over those whenever there's reason to go over those. I won't even bother looking at what weapons are available. I just want to check to see if there's anybody to talk to in here. Nope. Alright, training tent. Let me first make sure that there's nothing hidden back here. As a matter of fact... Hey, there's a brofa leaf here! We should take it to my friend Daktar. A part of me wonders what would have happened if I found the brofa leaf before talking to Daktar. I see you've brought some potion ingredients. You have enough brofa leaves to make 1 potion. Would you like a potion? Yes. What would you like? Oh, ooh, okay. Do I actually have free choice out of any of these? Because the Jagbo Elixir heals 25 HP, but the Othla Elixir recovers 50 HP. You don't have any Othla grass, sweetie. Alright. I didn't think that it was going to be that easy to make work. So we can only make a brofa item then. I'm not entirely sure why the system is set up like this, but it probably needed to be set up like this for some reason. So brofa elixir heals 25 MP. Okay, just give me a few moments here. She mixes the leaf with some other ingredients in her cauldron, then pours the brew into a bottle. There you go. Well, that's still a pretty nice item to have. I don't have nearly 25 MP right now, so I don't necessarily know that I'll be using that anytime soon. But once I have some more MP, that'll be handy. Alright, the battle tent is over there, the training tent. We'll go there in just a moment, but there's 2 other people that I want to talk to first. Jads, who appears to be Fib's brother. King Randolph put me on guard duty to keep the town safe from monsters. Someone had better get the crystals back. I ain't doing this forever. Yeah, definitely the brother. Boram. King Randolph put Jads and me on guard duty to keep monsters out of the town. So far, we've had to fight off a couple orcs and goblins. Oh, maybe they are the orcs and goblins that was spotted by the woman in this shop here. Yeah, as a reminder, without the protective crystals protecting this town and the region beyond, it is susceptible to monster attacks. Alright, let's get to the battle tent. The training tent. Teroth. Hi, Kristana. I just know you're gonna go out there and rescue Elandra. We'd really like to come along with you, but unfortunately, this game doesn't allow more than 4 characters at a time. This is true. Oh well, maybe my buddies and I will get to star in our own game sometime. I'm not sure. Will they? The person who made this game has made other games. Anyway, before you venture out into the Dragonlands, you should familiarize yourself with elemental combat and how it works. In just a moment, let's talk to your buddies here. Seth. Hey there, Chris. I'm a fire person, just like your buddy Phibbs. I'm strong against wind, but weak against water. Kalesa could easily take me in a fight. I have already made note of everyone's strengths and weaknesses, thanks to the manual. Brells. Hey Kristana, I'm a wind person. Like Jareth, I'm tough against water, but wimpy against fire. Jareth and I need to watch out for mean fire monsters. Phibbs could easily take me in a spar. Can I say just for a moment that RPG Maker 3 has some really nice music? Hello there, Chris. I'm a water person like Kalesa. That would explain your name, Rain. Oh, I'm a water person. Like Kalesa, I'm strong against fire, but weak against wind. Kalesa and I have to beware of wind monsters. Jareth could easily defeat me in a spar. Do you need help with elemental combat? Yes. Okay, I'll explain how it works. Everyone in the land is born into one of the 4 elements: earth, water, fire, or wind. Monsters belong to elements too. Water is strong against fire, but weak against wind. Fire is strong against wind, but weak against water. Wind is strong against water, but weak against fire. Earth is evenly matched with all. I am an earth person. You can talk to my friends to find out what their elements are. I already did. Look on your status page to see what elements you and your buddies belong to. During a battle, you can get quick identify info about who you're up against. A character's element will appear next to his name. His or her. Or alternatively, the gender neutral there. Would you like to spar with us? Yes. Okay, let's spar. Alright, time for our first battle. So first thing is first, RPG Maker 3 uses an ATB gauge, kinda like Final Fantasy, but as soon as your turn comes up, you have all the time in the world to decide what you want to do. Let's actually give ourselves more time. We're going to actually start off with this wing spell to boost someone's agility. And I don't know if this is a strategy that I will use all the time, but I'm going to buff Kristana's agility because she is neutral element, so she can attack just about whoever she wants. That was not much damage. I did not pay attention to what element that person was, but not much damage. So next is Glaza. Let's go ahead and have her attack someone. So something to make note of is that when it comes to characters in the back row, they can only use long-range attacks, and they can only be hit by long-range attacks. That is why Glaza is in the back row, because she has a long-range weapon. Likewise, because she has a long-range weapon, she is the only one right now who can physically attack Teroth there in the back. Now, that said, Glaza is water elemental, so she would be strongest against a fire enemy. So let's have her attack Seth there. A Sethi? Seth? Well, whatever his name is, we just got a miss. You're going to have to work with me here, RPG Maker 3. I am trying to make some good first impressions. So I know Fibs is going to be going up next. Fibs is fire elemental, strong against wind. So let's get a head start on the wind enemy then. There we go, got some damage in. And as I said, Fibs, strong against wind. A little bit of damage against Jareth, and Jareth's turn is going to be up next. Oh good, we got a miss against us. That makes up for earlier. So, Jareth is wind elemental, so he would actually be strong against water. However, okay, first things first, there is an intended strategy when it comes to combat. Now, typically whenever I play RPGs, I will have everyone target the same enemy so that we can defeat the enemy faster. That way, that enemy will not be attacking for the rest of the fight. However, in my first playthrough of the game's creator heavily recommended that I focus on whatever enemy is weak against each character. So, as I said, Jareth, strong against water, so I should be attacking rain with Jareth here. Unfortunately, I specifically chose to ignore this advice, partly because I was stubborn and wanted to do things my way. More importantly, I was concerned that if I was spreading damage around, that means that it would take longer to defeat each enemy, meaning these enemies would have more opportunities to attack during the fight. However, it is my full intent to not blunder this playthrough as hard as the first one, so I'm going to take the advice into consideration, and in fact, I'm going to do a little bit of experimenting right now. So, first things first, yeah, that was a safe state. I'm going to see how much damage Jareth does against rain. Jareth causes 16 points of damage with a weakness. Alright, load state. Jareth against fire, which should actually cause very little damage because Jareth's attacks are weak against fire enemies. And indeed, that only caused 4 points of damage. Load state, and a neutral damage against Brels, which causes 10 points of damage. That also took Brels out of the battle, so I think what I'm going to do is a bit of a compromise. So I'm still going to try to focus on one enemy to try to get that enemy taken out faster. As we have seen, there is definitely a benefit to doing that strategy. However, if one of my party members is weak against the target, that's just a wasted attack. I'm going to maximize my damage by attacking whatever target they are strong against. I am hoping that this will be the optimal way of performing things. Now then, Kristana's up, and how about we use one of her skills? Well, her one skill for now. Ice Dagger. I was told in the description that this is strong against fire enemies, so that is in fact some good damage. Okay, Glisa, you will actually cause neutral damage against fire, so we will continue trying to take this guy out. And next hit should hypothetically do that guy in. Amphibs, you are fire elemental, so you should do neutral damage to another fire enemy. And there we go. Good stuff so far. This is going well. Alright, Kristana, neutral damage against rain. Jareth is next. You're strong against rain. And Glisa, you're not going to be able to cause very much damage against rain at all, so you can go ahead and get a strong hit against Teroth. Well, neutral against Teroth. Earth Elemental. And in fact, you know what? Let's see, Kristana, your attack is coming up next. Let's make your attack stronger. Just to try out the attack. Which makes me wonder if our health and stuff is going to be restored after this battle. It is in fact only a training battle. Okay, so that was an extra 5 points of damage. Not bad. Alright, I'd say we got this fight in the bag. Jareth is hurting a little, but I don't think Jareth will take too much damage from the next attack. And there we go! Battle over! Huzzah! Our first victory! We don't get any experience or anything from that fight. You do not gain experience from battling NPCs, only monsters. That is just how RPG Maker 3 works. However, that was a great spar! Congratulations! Here's 25 gold. It's yours for winning. Cool. And we do in fact get healed after that fight. Okay, I gotta find out. If we fight you again, do we get 25 gold again? Say no to that. We don't need advice. Okay, let me know if you need any help. But let's go ahead and spar, and I will meet you after the fight. That was a great spar. Congratulations! Let me know if you'd like to go again. See if you can beat us without losing someone. I just did. But to answer my question, no, you cannot grind on them to get money. That's fine. 25 gold was a pretty big reward. Anyway, it is getting late. Clearly. But this is what I kind of mean about how RPG Maker 3 looks at night. How the town just gets all lit up like this. I just kind of like the look of this. Anyway, that is going to be all for today. Next time, we're going to go to the first dungeon and fight our first boss. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Oink!